The king is back.
This is Open Mat MMA. Today we're going to be going over the Holloway versus Allen fight night. I'm going to give you some fight predictions and also go over some bets with you. So we got the first fight of the card. We got Joselyne Edwards and Lucie Pudilová. So I went a little back and forth on this fight, honestly. I think that worried me about Pudilová is I think she might be a little too small for Joselyne Edwards. I think that will play a big factor in this fight. Joselyne Edwards got good. She's comfortable on the feet. She got to stay off the cage and work on takedown defense. But I think she can pull it off against Lucie Pudilová. Lucie Pudilová is the -150 favorite, but I got Joselyne Edwards taking that one. Next, we got Gaston and Bolaños versus Phillips. So, look, the odds, -180 Gaston, plus 155 Phillips. One thing that worried me about Phillips, he hasn't fought in 3 years. Like, he got some. I believe in ring rust. I think he might have some ring rust. He's 0-3 at the UFC. This look like a fight. Like, hey, you know, you gotta do or die. So he might can come out and he might come out and surprise everybody. But I got Gaston. He is legit in Muay Thai. Or slash kickboxing. He did have some decent success in Bellator, and he also got like some flashy knockout wins. He got subbed twice, but I don't think his opponent's skill set and his skill set, I think it'd be a little discrepancy. So next we got Bruna, Brazil, and Denise Gomes. Hey, Denise Gomes is a Contender Series vet. She's on one in the UFC. Now I didn't watch much film on her. I couldn't find much. But I do know Bruno Brazil had a fantastic head kick on the UFC Contender Series. I remember watching that live. I'm going Bruna Brazil, and she's on a 7-fight win streak. I think she's a -230 favorite. Next we got Lando, Vannata, and Daniel Zellhuber. So look, this fight, I went back and forth on who to choose. So Lando he's very flashy. He needs to check kicks, throw in unorthodox strikes. But one thing that's very compelling about this matchup, Lando he's been in some wars. He has some mileage. So we got to take that into account when choosing fights. Because one day you got it, just one day you don't, especially in this high-level MMA game. And Daniel Zellhuber lost to Trey Ogden. But I think Trey Ogden is a really good fighter. I know he just lost, but I like him still. So I don't think that's a bad loss. He's tall. He's long. He uses kips up the middle, kind of like Bahamondes. He just fought on UFC 287. He has some really good kicks. He's tall, uses length. I think the same thing. Daniel Zellhuber. He has to do the same thing. He is a -115 favorite versus Lando Vannata -105. So it's near even. I'll go Daniel Zellhuber for the W. So, Piera Rodriguez and Gillian Robertson. Look, I didn't choose anybody. Hard to find film on them. Piera Rodriguez is undefeated. I probably would have chose her. However, last fight card, Sam Hughes went against an undefeated fighter, and I was like, oh, she gonna win, and she lost. So I'm gonna stay away from that fight. If y'all think y'all know who gonna win, please let me know, because I would stay away from that fight. But I'll be sure to watch it. So next we got Herman and Zak Cummings. So they're both older fighters. One had 2-year layoff. Herman had 2-year layoff. He's a +200 favorite, a +200 underdog, and Zak Cummings is a -250 favorite. So Herman with a 2-year layoff, Zak Cummings with a 3-year layoff. So they're gonna have some ring rust. Both of them have some ring rust. Herman, he's been in the UFC a long time. Like he been in the UFC since they had sponsors on their shorts, and then they went to Reebok. And then they went to the shorts they got now. So he's very, very tough. He got to mix it up. He survived and he finished his last win, so he still got it. They're nearing the end of their fight game, so I think this is a good matchup for both of them. Favorable matchup for both of them. So Zak Cummings is my 250 favorite. Zak Cummings, he's very, very tough. And he's a really good counter puncher. And he has power. Like, he got head kick power. He got some punching power. I got Zak Cummings winning. I think this is a favorable fight for both of them. But I'm choosing Zak Cummings. Next, we got TJ Brown and Bill Algeo. So TJ Brown is a plus 135 favorite. And Bill Algeo is a minus 160 favorite. So Bill Algeo, I was watching his fights. He went to the split decision last fight, and then he went against Herbert Burns. I was about to say Gilbert Burns, but it's Gilbert Burns' little brother, Herbert Burns. Bill looked he looked very gamed. He fought a lot of submissions. Even against Ricardo Lamas, he fought some submissions, fought a front headlock. He fought some submissions. He fought a triangle armbar from Herbert Burns. Anybody with the last name Burns and third-degree black belt, and you find submissions from them, and those submissions was pretty deep, and he fought those submissions. So I don't think TJ Brown could submit him, because TJ Brown, his last fight, he rallied back, got the sub. I don't think he can do that against Bill, just because of his high-level defense. So he was having a hard time with Joselyne on the feet, and Joselyne is 5'8", and TJ Brown 5'9", and then Bill Algeo, his reach is longer. So I think if Bill watches that fight with Joselyne to see some of the problems he gave him, I think he could implement that to his game plan, especially since he got the height advantage on him. So I'm flipping the page right now. We got Clay Guida and Rafa Garcia. Look, Clay Guida is a veteran of the fight game. He got a lot of fights in the UFC. We know he's really tough. He can wrestle. We've seen Clay Guida plenty of times. He's a plus 180 underdog. We got Rafa Garcia, who's a minus 225 favorite. Rafa Garcia looks very, very very thick. So I don't think he'll be able to wrestle. I don't think Clay Guida can wrestle him, honestly. And he got some decent jiu-jitsu. But he got a lot of power in his hands. But with that power, he got to let his hands go. If he let his hands go, use that power he got. He even mixed up some takedowns if he wanted to. I think he'd be bigger than Guida in the cage. Guida's a phenomenal shape, but I think he's a little thicker than him. So I got Rafa Garcia winning. I think Clay Guida is a sneaky underdog, though. If you want to go with the underdog, that's one of the fights I would go on if I was you. Next, we got Pedro Munhoz and Chris Gutierrez. So it reminds me. So this fight, I had Rafa on my notes because it reminded me of the veteran. I know Chris Gutierrez is young as Adrian Yanez, but it's one of those up and coming bantamweights against one of the ones that's more established, which is Pedro Munhoz. So I don't want him to get stuck in the mud because his last fight against O'Malley, he was a little stuck. He didn't look the same, honestly. It looked like he was kind of entering a decline, but then that's a big fight against Sean O'Malley. So I'm not mad if he was looking bad in that fight, as far as on the feet, and then he looked better the next fight. But I think he's gonna have to grind this fight out. Then he got to strike first, and they both got to check kicks. They both got very deadly leg kicks. They both got to check them. Because Chris Gutierrez finished guys with his leg kicks. Pedro Munhoz, he gave a lot of guys trouble with his leg kicks. They both got good leg kicks, so they got to check each other's leg kicks. That's going to be very compelling to see who can get the leg kick first. I got Gutierrez winning. He's a minus 220 favorite. He got some decent strikes up the middle. He's a little taller than Pedro Munhoz. Some similar way he did to Frankie Edgar. Come up with that knee up the middle. Come up with that front kick up the middle. Two different opponents, but I think that body size, I think Pedro Munhoz and Frankie got a similar body size, so he could use some of the same attacks, the same game plan he used against Frankie Edgar with Pedro Munhoz. He got to be able to check kicks, though. Next, we got Cutelaba and Tanner Boser. So Tanner Boser, he looked in phenomenal shape. He's coming down from heavyweight. This is his first fight at 205. He looked in phenomenal shape. Ian Cubola, he's 1-4-1 in the last 6. That worries me, honestly. The UFC tends to, man, they give people tough fights when they lose. They don't get it's no easy fights in the UFC. So I'm not saying they give them tough fights on purpose. I'm just saying every fight in the UFC is tough. Tanner, I think he takes the W. He's a plus 100 underdog, so he's not really underdog. He's like gonna break even if you put in that $100. I think he got stuff to take down, and then he moves very well, and he's also really accurate. He landed like a crazy punch combo on his knockouts, like 5 or 6 punches, just doop doop doop, just hitting them all. I was like, God, that is very fast. And then Ian is he's very aggressive. I don't think he'll be able to wrestle a guy that's coming from heavyweight who held his own. He held his own as heavyweight. He lost to Real Gun, lost some other guys, but he held his own. He didn't get finished in heavyweight. He was in there with the best. He didn't look like he hurt himself to get to 205. Honestly, he looked pretty good in shape when I seen a picture of him on Twitter. So I'm gonna go with Tanner. So now we got Azamat Mokomorov and Dustin Jacoby. So Azamat, he got some problems with his age apparently. Nobody knows how old he is, so we're not gonna talk about his age. But Dustin Jacoby, he was in glory, fought some really good guys, fought Alex Pereira. He lost to him. He got to use a long range weapons, and he's taller, he's longer, got some good hands, got some good kicks. You know, he was good knees and elbows. He's a glory boxer, kickboxer. So he got the tools. He's got to use them. He got to put pressure on Azamat, but I think he will put pressure on. I think that's going to be the issue, because Azamat got some really good. He got really good left hand, good counter shots. He's a southpaw. That left hand is really good. It knocks people down. He's 12-0. When he hit people, they don't freaking move. Jeremy Stevens said that. I love that line, man. But I think that's what you can see. He got really good power. I think he can finish him. He got to be a little more patient. He can't like lunge out with that left hand, because he can face some fatal consequences. Not fatal. Don't want to make it sound like he's dying, but he might get hurt. So this is gonna be his toughest test to date. So we'll see what happens. So I got next, and I actually Azamat is a plus 170 favorite underdog. So I think that's the fight where the underdog can win you some money. So next we got Edson Barbosa and Billy Quarantillo. So I was watching the fights. I'm looking at Barbosa is a 135 underdog. So I'm like, oh, Barbosa is really good. So I'm looking at him. Barbosa got some really good kicks. He's dangerous on the feet. He got some good jiu-jitsu. Then I watched this fight with Bryce Mitchell, and I seen Bryce Mitchell dropped him. I forgot about that part. I was like, oh. I can't go with Edson Barbosa, because Billy Quarantino, he got some really good strikes. Like, he got a really nice overhand. He put volumes on the fighter. I don't know if he's elite as the others who's beat Barbosa, but I think this is definitely a bookmark for him to see where he's at in that division, and get a good grasp on it. Next week, that was our co-main. Now we got our main event, minus 170, Max Holloway against the plus 145, Arnold Allen. Are y'all excited? Because I am. Hey, look, I think Arnold Allen storched some people. I seen him storch some people. Put pressure on Dan Hooker. Beat him. He subbed some people. He's really good. 10-0 in the UFC. He got the same reach as Max Holloway, but he's a little shorter. Got a nice choke. He's really good going forward. Dan Hooker did hurt him going forward, and he brawled with Dan Hooker. I don't think you could brawl with Max Holloway. So if he don't put Max Holloway away in the first round, I don't know if he got the cardio to keep up with him on the 5th round. And then, look, Max Holloway lost to Volk 3 times. Second time was debatable. First time was debatable. Most people thought Volk won. Second time, most people thought Holloway won. I don't know. I don't think Arnold Allen at that level of the guys that beat Holloway. Like Dustin Poirier beat him as a recent. Like McGregor, DP beat him again, but it's been some years. But like recently, Volk been beating him, and then Poirier beat him. I don't think Arnold's at that level of Poirier. He's not that size. He don't got that power. I think Holloway can stay on the outside. I think he got. I know he got better cardio than Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen is great though. I think he should have had another fight before this, but unfortunately, Calvin Kattar got hurt. That'd have been a good benchmark in him. I think they might be throwing this fight at him a little too fast. But Max Holloway needs somebody to fight, and Arnold Allen needs somebody to fight, so it makes sense. I think he got better fight IQ than Arnold Allen, because Arnold Allen sometimes he blitzes people. I don't think he'll be able to blitz Holloway, especially with the reach and the. Holloway don't got the best power, but he got a lot of volume. So I think Holloway takes that, and that is my predictions for Max Holloway for the Arnold Allen fight card. That's going to be happening this Saturday. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if y'all place any bets, and let me know how y'all do. This is Open Mat MMA, and we're out.